and Sonia Edwards from Bryan Insurance in the studio with us. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Enjoying all the good music this morning.
Oh, thank you.
So-
Well, we're working hard at it.
Yeah, I can tell. It's great.
Yes, the sweat is rolling off of us this morning.
Yeah, it was real tough hitting the right button.
Well, hey, it works for me. So.
Well, that's good. As a listener, I'm glad you were getting positive feedback.
Yes, absolutely. So I've had one of those things. I call them theme weeks, where somebody asks me the same question, like 2 or 3 people ask me the same question. So that's been happening this week, and the question has to do. It's been people that have businesses or work for a business about active shooter training. Like, what should you do to prepare for a situation where you've got somebody that comes into your place of business and with a gun, kind of thing.
Oh, right.
So I mean,
Yeah,
I just thought it was interesting that question has happened this week for some reason. So I thought we would talk about that, and that's really not an insurance issue. It's a risk management / legal issue, and so I want to preface all of this by saying that I'm in no way saying that Bryan Insurance is saying that this is what you should 100% do, because what you should do is you should consult an expert in that field as well as get legal advice, but you need to have a plan, and that's the whole thing. You know, when we were growing up, we had tornado drills and we had fire drills, and nowadays kids at the schools have that plus a lockdown drill, I think is what they call it. And they say that when something happens, like the most recent one, I think, wasn't that in New York City, the most recent one, and all the kids knew what to do, and the adults were just froze because they didn't know what to do. And so I think that for a business, you should have a plan in place for if there's a fire, if there's a bad storm, and if there's an active shooter. I think that those are all things, because you're not going to know what to do when it happens at the last minute. It's scary. I do know that what is widely considered the best plan, the number one response training for everybody, is called the ALICE, ALICE plan, and you can Google that. The ALICE stands for Alert, Lockdown, Inform, Counter, Evacuate, but it's a plan. It's training for the people, for your employees, if you're a church, for your church members, just so that in the horrible case that does happen, because we all know from the news it can happen, and
Right.
It does happen, that you're prepared and that your people are prepared, so that hopefully you can handle the situation without somebody getting seriously injured and deal with it. So that's the answer. And again, I want to add, talk to an attorney when you do put this plan in place. It's very controversial. In my mind, it's not a controversy, because I would always be more worried about protecting my people than I would be about if I'm going to get sued.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
But it is controversial. Some businesses take the stance that we do not allow anybody to, even if they're licensed, to bring a weapon on. And then some have the opposite, but even if you do have your concealed handgun license, from the training, and I know I haven't done it, but Rick's done it, that they're very, very specific when they tell you how to handle a situation. You only use your firearm if you are trying to protect a life, not property. And they also tell you that you can still be sued in civil court. It's not just I've got my license, so I'm going to shoot you because you tried to hurt me. So, and I'm not trying to make light of it. But anyway, the point of all this is have a plan. And I know that the Grand Police Department has been giving classes, and I don't know what you need to do. I guess I just call them.
Yeah,
and
you call Tony Widener.
Call Tony Widener and see.
Yeah, and he can set that up for you.
Set up and come into your business and talk to your people, put your plan in place.
I need to interject something that I've run across for many years now, is this double standard from the HR departments, where in your employee handbook there's kind of a written no firearms on premises, but yet they don't have the postings, and they, in other words, would be really glad if you stopped something, but they want to have an out so that they can be protected as well. It's crazy.
That's just a legal kind of a situation to cover themselves, because if someone were to come into your office or wherever you may be, your workplace, with a weapon, if they post that kind of stuff, then it really opens up a whole new can of worm. But if it's this is what I was told. The place I used to work,
Yeah.
they had a policy of no handguns or weapons in the building.
Right.
They didn't post anything up there because that way if someone did come in and someone did happen to have one that day that could stop the situation, you know, they were glad for that, but their official policy was we have no handguns.
I always told Rick, because you know he had his gun with him every day when he went to work, and I said, well, nobody will have to know unless you use it, and then you'll be a hero. So you know,
Yeah.
because he would be the first one there for 4 or 5 hours before anybody got to
Right.
work, you know,
Yeah.
and so, but yeah, and we're seeing more people that give advice to businesses on their handbooks to actually allow to put in their wording that if you do have your license, you need to let management know that you have your license, but then you are allowed. So we're seeing that more. It's becoming more
And that's,
accepted.
believe it or not, that's exactly how it was at First Baptist Church Dallas when I worked for them. They said, "Oh, you got your CHL," and it was part of my employee folder. And there were 3 of us at the radio station, at the network, that 3 of us that we were the ones to be called on to come up front.
Yeah.
Because we were prepared.
We're pretty blessed in our church. We have got more law enforcement people.
we do.
I'm telling you, we have at any given Sunday 10 officers at our church. And I remember one of them saying one time, he said, "I'm more concerned about the crossfire than I am worried about
Yeah.
somebody coming in."
Yeah. So.
So for all you would-be knuckleheads out there, let you know we got
Don't
a lot
come
of
to our
officers at our
church.
church.
Yeah, don't come to our church or to where Rick works.
Yeah.
or-
This would be fun.
Or,
Yeah.
or to where I work, because we've got a lot of pistol packing mamas over there too. So,
Pistol packing mama.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
one of my coworkers and I went to a meeting in Charleston, and we flew, and she packed her. I mean, they let you have your gun there, so we checked it at the airport in Dallas, picked it up, and every time we went downtown to eat, she had her gun, and I thought it was great. Never had to use it, but it was good to have. So, but anyway, again, you know I say this all the time, but the time to talk about all of this is before something happens, because once something happens, everybody freaks out, and you're still going to freak out, but if you can, your mind can go back to that plan. So that's what I wanted. That was my tip for the day.
That was awesome, Sonia. Thank you so much.
Sure.
And how do we get a hold of you at Bryan Insurance?
Okay, you can call us at 940-549-2525. Come see us on the 2nd floor of Sierra Bank, or visit us online at www.bryanins.com.
All right. Thanks, Sonia. We'll see you next week.
All right.